see, behind me here is the Kia Optima. Now, I quite like the Optima. Let's find out if it's any good. So it's not that long ago that Kia were making some, well, oddball cars, but they have a saying, before Seed and after Seed. The Seed came out and basically changed the fortunes of Kia forever. Now we're looking at Kia Optima, Sportage, all these different cars. And in actual fact, Sportage is another car where Kia has, well, changed their own landscape. And in actual fact, when someone would go into a Kia dealership, they just go, I want one of them Sportage. Do you know what it's like to have a Sportage? What do you think of a Sport? Never mentioning Kia throughout that whole thing. Sportage nearly became a brand all to itself. Now, Optima hasn't had the same success in Ireland and has often been just overlooked as a car because it competes in a segment where Kia is not best suited. It competes in that sort of executive but not luxury market, so the sales rep market. Now, that market is dominated by the likes of the Ford Mondeo, the VW Passat, the Toyota Avenzas. You know, there's some other oddballs in there as well, like the Honda Accord, which doesn't really exist anymore. But you know, it's that kind of market. It's pretty selective. The Kia Optima doesn't really feature in those kind of fleet lists. And Irish people kind of meandered away from the edge of buying saloon cars. It kind of fell by the wayside and went back to being stuck with hatchbacks, you know, rather than the saloon. And still, this car stood out like a sore thumb. Still incredibly pretty, really nice to look at, really enjoyable to drive. I do think it looks a little bit like a manga cartoon. I do think it's just a tad on the Asian side. It's just a little bit over the top when it comes to its looks. It looks somewhere between a Passat and a Mondeo. There is a lovely, comfortable feeling. The seats are very supportive in all the right ways. The steering wheel is in a good position, very flat-fronted to it as well. That reminds me somewhat of a Jaguar steering wheel. That screen in the centre is informative. It's good. It just looks like there's bits missing either side of it. It looks like there is like a 12-inch version of that screen, and I don't know where it is, but it seemed pretty good. This spec, by the way, that I'm looking at here is the spec that's available in Ireland. This hasn't been spec'd up. This is the top end of the 3 specs. It's a very pleasant car. So what's my complaints? Do I have a complaint? Well, not really. Well, I do have 2. One is the boot, but I've explained that. The boot lid just falls shut. The other one is that the motor that runs the windshield wipers, well, this is strong enough. The windshield wipers seem to be sticking to the windscreen sometimes, and they can't seem to unroot themselves from it. The car will basically drive in any gear, as you just heard there, so it changed from 6th to 5th. There's a decent spec in it. It's pleasant enough, although the steering's a little bit light. And it's a drivable car, but not really a driver's car. Would I buy one? Yes. Would I buy one over a Ford Mondeo or a Passat? Oh, I don't know about that. Over an Avenzas? Maybe. But I'm back to that same old thing. If I was happy looking out the window at a Kia Optima, I'd buy a Kia Optima. That's it. This has a 7-year warranty, limited to 100,000 kilometers, but 7 years is 7 years, no matter what you do. I think the Kia Optima is nicely put together, nicely appointed. It's not premium. It's not up there with the premium boys just yet, but it's making a lot of inroads in that direction. I would expect to hear a lot more from Kia about this kind of segment once they're finished launching the most important car to them, which is the Sportage, which, by the way, is next week's test car. So we'll have a full video out of the Sportage next week. But I want to hear what you have to say, so don't forget to leave me a comment down below there to tell me what you think of your Kia Optima, if you have one or if you're considering to buy one. So, until the next time, I will see you on the far side. Okay, so one thing I do want to point out straight off the mark is the boot lid. Kia seriously. Look at this. So I lift the boot lid. That's fine, but it springs back down. Look, it's so easy. It just falls. So you put your head in it, and even the slightest gust of wind, the tiniest gust of wind, and it closes on your head. Kia, you need to sort that one out, right? Now, that would be a serious thing, because once it's up, it's so easy to pull it down. It's just too easy. You need to fix that.